What is up, everybody? Bleeding Blue Podcast, episode 82. We are back at it with another episode here to discuss some of the Four Nations discussions, a little bit of baseball, and the top five. Not too much football talk, obviously, right now, as it is become turning into the off season. But yeah, let's get right into it right now. Let's talk about this Four Nations hockey tournament. I have to say right away, this is so much better than the All Star. And I think game, and I think most people will agree. Most people will agree. It is so much better. So much better.
Yep. Yeah, I cannot agree with you more. This is easily better than anything I've seen out of an All-Star break since I've watched hockey. Um, the fact that the boys are playing extremely hard and completely different from, past weeks, past All-Star games. I've not seen this much intensity out of, a mid-season break ever. I think it was probably the best decision the NHL has made in recent years. I think it's probably one of the best decisions any of the top four leagues in North America has ever made. I think it's fantastic. I think I just wish there was maybe more teams involved, like Russia or other countries that are involved, that have really good players. But I think this is a fantastic decision the league has made. Um, I know it's probably not going to happen every break every year because out of that kind of ruins the hype out of the intensity every year of playing against, like, Canada, US. I feel like that ruins the hype out of it. But I think this is a great decision.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I think they should add maybe more teams as well. I think that'd be maybe like
Yeah, I think over time, I think they will,
I think
just
like
to make it a
Russia.
little more competitive.
Yeah, like I think even though, Russia isn't it's kind of a little bit more difficult to do that with Russia
Yeah,
nowadays.
they're not on best terms with the IHF and the NHL, but yeah, I think it'd be a great idea to involve more teams, kind of like that World Cup of Hockey thing going on. Um, I don't think it's obviously not going to happen next year because it's the Olympics. So that's kind of when the All-Star break's kind of like the Olympics when they're going to be playing. So that's a good thing. So we don't have to worry about another All-Star game. But there's also there's recent news. I don't know if we covered it last week, but they're bringing the World Cup of Hockey back in 2028. So that's gonna be exciting. That's when we'll see more teams be involved, like Team Europe, and see Team North America again, which will be exciting. I remember that in 2016, which was really cool, seeing, like, young McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon, kind of all on the same team. I thought that was really cool. So it'll be interesting to see what that team will look like in 3 years. So yeah,
Yeah.
like, international hockey's on the come up, man, and I love to see it because best on best hockey is some of the best sports you can watch.
It
And
is. And it's
I
intense.
think also, what was that? What were you
No,
gonna say?
I was just gonna say it's intense the entire time, and it's just there's nothing like watching McKinnon, Crosby, and McDavid on the same line. It's just like it's cool to watch
Yeah,
the like just the greatest players of all time on the same line competing and like being each other's teammates. Even Brad Marchand, man, like that video that came out where they're just like fucking crazy 8-7. Like just I think that's the coolest thing. Like coming from McDavid,
hmm
Marchand to on over to Crosby, like it's neat.
yeah. It was funny after that winner by Marner in OT. It was funny in the dressing room. He's like, "Way to go, Mitchie."
Yeah.
It's like so odd, right? You know, like
Oh yeah.
seeing Marner score in Montreal and getting cheered by the fans, and Marchand scoring in Montreal, and like the Canadians' horns going off when Marchand scores. It's just hilarious seeing that. Um, I thought that was really cool, but I think the dynamic of the teams working together, and then literally on Saturday they go back to their own teams and they're playing completely different hockey. I think it's really interesting to see. And I've kind of like not posted stuff on my story, but like I think, you know, watching I didn't watch any of the NBA All-Star weekend, but I've 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 seen highlights and it just really pisses me off like the difference between the NHL and the NBA and how like players perform in it and see how they're actually trying. And I saw a video today from PK Subban, who's like probably like the best ambassador for hockey right now in terms of analysts on ESPN or whatever. Um, he was saying that the NBA needs to change something in order to be like the NHL, and I think that's 100% true because it's not a good look for the NBA seeing that a player like Mac McClung, who's not even in the league, he's in the G League and he's winning the dunk contest 3 years in a row and he doesn't even play in the league is not a good look.
Yeah.
It's not a good look for the league. It's not a good look for the sport. Like they got to change something because I like watching the NBA. I used to watch it all the time, but it's just something right now is there's nothing. It's not interesting to
Well,
watch right now.
I think one of the reasons is that it's you never get to have a player that's there forever and get to cheer on, like specifically for a team, because
Hmm.
half of the players get traded like every year. And players don't like have no need to be to or feel to be with a team, even if they're not signing like these 10-year deals, they're signing small like 4-year deals. Like even like, you look at you want to watch a player like you want to watch a player like Kevin Durant and cheer on him for a long time. Well, you can't because this guy gets traded every like 2 seasons, or he signs a 2-year deal with one team and has bad blood with another team after that, like after getting
Hmm.
traded. Same with James Harden. James Harden's example of a guy that just like
Right.
every team that he's left, he's not leaves on horrible terms. There's rumors that like LeBron's gonna get traded, that Steph's gonna get traded. It's
Hmm.
like, come on, like there's got to be something where these players get to stay. Never would I ever think that Klay Thompson is going to play for the Dallas Mavericks. Never did I think
Hmm.
that Doncic was gonna play for the Lakers, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. There's no loyalty. That's what it is. There's no
Yeah.
loyalty to these teams, and I think that's what pisses fans off because they aren't able to cheer these guys on for like 10 years and like their entire life. Whereas like you look at, I think hockey is an example of where players actually like to stay on a team. It's like when somebody gets traded, it's huge. It's like to think that Steven
Hmm.
Stamkos went to Nashville is ridiculous. Like that's
Hmm.
insane. Even though he played for Tampa Bay forever, like he'll
Hmm.
probably be retired in Tampa. And then but like Crosby, he's gonna be there for he's
Right.
Penguins for the rest of his life. Ovechkin's gonna be in Washington for the rest of his life.
Right.
I can see even Matthews. I think he's going to be a Leaf for the rest of his career. I think Nylander
Hmm.
is going to be a Leaf for the rest of his career. Who would have thought that Nylander would have signed an 8-year contract with the Leafs? It's very surprising,
Yeah.
but it's good, and he's going to be here for a long time, and
Yeah.
that's the difference. That's I think the big thing. If I have to say something about it.
Yeah, I know you're completely right. And another thing to add on to your point was I watch Bob Does Sports. They're like a YouTube channel that they do golfing videos and stuff. They had Spitting Chicklets on with Paul Bissonnette and
Yeah.
Ryan Whitney and Keith Yandle, those guys. And Keith Yandle was talking about exactly your point about loyalty in the locker room and stuff and relationships with guys. And like he was saying that would never happen in hockey, like the bad blood between teammates and stuff, because they would just get kicked out of the team immediately because it's a different environment. It's a different, the way players act in the NHL compared to the NBA is completely different. So I think that's something that has to change in the NBA in terms of that. I think the NFL is kind of in the middle. I think, some players are,
I think like QBs will get
can
locked
be
up for.
divas.
Yeah, like I think QBs will get locked up for long-term deals, and you see that happen a lot more. But you look at some of your wide receivers, and you're like, oh, that
Yeah,
guy's
there's some divas on certain teams, but it's not as common as the NBA, I think. Um, but you know,
it all comes
players
down to money.
Like
Yeah.
Josh Allen, for example, like I think he's going to be a Bill for life. I don't think he wants to leave Buffalo because just the way his attitude towards the game. Same with Mahomes too. I definitely don't think Mahomes is getting traded. I think he's staying in Kansas City.
No,
I can't see Burrow or Jalen Hurts or any of these top quarterbacks. I can't see them
it'll
moving
be
teams.
yeah, it'll be when they're out of their prime. It'll be when they're really old and
Right,
you know,
right. It's kind of like a Tom Brady type situation where he kind of wants to retire, but maybe he wants to get in a better situation. But there's no like ring chasing in the NHL, and I think that's kind of a difference. Um, you know, that's kind of the difference between some of the leagues. But I think, yeah, going back to the Four Nations, I think this is a really good step in the right direction for um, for the NHL and bringing more awareness to hockey. I think America they kind of push it off to the side, and I think this game on Thursday between Canada and US, I think that game on Saturday kind of woke up everyone saying, "Oh shit, this is really
oh yeah,
interesting hockey." And the three fights in the first 9 seconds, I was having the time of my life. It was fucking awesome. Um, 10 years of no best on best between these two teams, and the fact that they just let it all out in the first 9 seconds. Guys like Hagel who don't even fight were getting after it. I thought that was really cool. And then him saying like, "Oh, I didn't fight that because I wanted to fight Kachuk. I fought because I did it for the flag." I thought that was a really good statement. Um, and then yeah, I think Thursday, you know, it's a shame that McAvoy's not going to play because he's injured. Um, I kind of wanted like both teams to be fully healthy, and then we can just
yeah. But they're
see
gonna
who's
Quinn
really the
Hughes
better
back.
team.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's not going to be playing.
Oh, he's
Um,
not. Oh,
the only way he's going to be able to play is if someone drops out of the lineup because they already have six defensemen. Because
oh, I see.
I can't remember who's standing in for McAvoy. I think it's Sanderson, Jake
Mm,
Sanderson. I think he's stepping in, so they already have six defensemen, so they don't have to worry about putting in Hughes. But that's only if someone says they can't play. He comes in, but I don't think he's even gone to Boston yet. I think he's still in Vancouver. Um, so I don't think he'll be playing.
mm, yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
but I think yeah, tomorrow's game, I'm very excited to watch it. It's going to be a fun game, intense. I might be more intense than the game on Saturday. I think the crowd in Boston is going to be great too.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm very excited to watch and see what happens. Hopefully, Canada pulls it out. I think they will. Um, that first game on Saturday, I wasn't the first period was fantastic. I thought Canada played really well, even though they ended up being 1-1 after the first. But the second and third, they couldn't do anything, and it was kind of like lackadaisical and just giving up the puck. And I think just the U.S. was figuring out what they were trying to do. I think this game on Thursday is going to be a different story. I think Canada's going to be they're going to be on it. They're going to be ready. Um, I think US will be ready too. I think both Kachuk players are playing, so they're going to be physical as well. But yeah, man, I'm very excited. This is a great way for hockey to be showcased. And Sweden. We can talk about Sweden and Finland for a quick second. I thought both teams were really good. Nylander played really well. Uh, he had his moments. They beat US in the last game, even though it didn't really matter. But all the teams were competitive. I don't think there was one really bad team or like they just got destroyed. I think Finland played really well. Like they almost came back against Canada in the third game. I was a little worried there at the end.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think all four teams played really well. Yeah, I'm really excited. This is a great preview for the Olympics to come up, and then we'll see Russia and Czechia who won the World Championships last spring,
Yeah.
I believe. So they're gonna have a good team as well. So yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds for international hockey. It's in a great place right now.
Yeah. It definitely is. It's a ton of fun. It is a ton of fun. The
Hmm.
game, yeah, game on tomorrow is gonna be. Uh, there are two teams that are really good. I think it could go either way. Like to tell you the truth,
Hmm.
I think on paper that Team USA is the better team.
Right,
Like the Leafs just, or sorry, the Leafs. Canada they just have such good players, man. McKinnon,
right.
David, McCarr, it's Reinhardt, Crosby. Their
Hmm.
team's so good. It's so good, and it's a lot of really fun players, and even Marner, man. I mean, he played like fucking shit on the second game, but or in the third game they had, yeah,
He got brought down to the Hagel and Sorelli line, I think, and they
yeah,
brought Point up, and Point played really well. So
yeah,
I think that kind of, Marner's kind of he wasn't slacking, but I guess he just they wanted to experiment, and Point playing with McDavid and Reinhardt, they were doing some good stuff. So
yeah.
that's probably what will happen on Thursday. But yeah,
No, Brandon
it's
Hagley.
looking really good right now and shaping up to be a good final. And
Yeah,
then we're right back to the Leafs on Saturday. They're playing they play Carolina on Saturday at home. That should be a good game. And then they have Sunday. They play in Chicago, which should probably be a win.
yep,
Um, it should be a win, and then Boston on Tuesday. So Leafs are in Boston again. Marner and Matthews are going back over there. So yep, some a lot of hockey coming up, which is good to see. Some sports to watch after the NFL has kind of disappeared, into the off season. So yeah,
yeah. No, for
good
sure.
stuff.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. But yeah, no, it's definitely exciting. Let's move on and talk a little bit about Toronto Blue Jays, something a little bit more disappointing.
Yeah.
Look, the elephant in the room, Vladdy did not sign a long-term extension with the Blue Jays. Um, we don't know exactly how much money was offered by either side, what was wanted by Vladdy, and then what was offered. I've thought, you should just pay him whatever, but if he's asking for Juan Soto money, he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. He's a first baseman. He's a first baseman, and is the highest amount of wins above replacement are around six that he gives you. He's great. Vladdy is great, and I think he's going to be a really good player. It's also tough to look at. You have to consider 2 seasons, ago, he fucking put up a 260 average with 26 home runs, a league average player with like negative defensive WAR and terrible base running. It just an average player at best. Year before that is kind of the same thing, a little bit better. 32 home runs, Gold Glove, terrible base running still, and if he's asking for something like 585 over 13 years, that is what David Ortiz says. I don't know how accurate that is, but I think he has some intel. That's a lot of money for a first baseman. Now, if he's going to play third base, then maybe he deserves that, but we don't know how confirmed that is. If for first baseman, that's a lot of money, and I don't know how well deserved that is. Um, Look, it sucks. It really does suck. I think that it's sad that he's probably not going to be a Blue Jay after this, and neither is Bo Bichette. I don't know what is in store for this team because if you want to continue to be competitive, you sign those two players, and that is what makes you competitive. I don't know what the fuck Ross is doing with these contracts with Santander. It's like money being wasted at this point. And Max Scherzer, like if you're in win now mode, you sign these players and Jeff Hoffman and Andres Jimenez. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's in store for this team. It's disappointing, man. It's really sad. I think that they should have signed him. I don't care about the money. At the same time, you do have to look at it from a business perspective and see, okay, yeah, like you can't be giving out a first baseman $600 million. But man, like it's hard. It's just
Yeah, it's a shame.
we've never had a player that's like Vladdy, and we might not get another player like him again. He doesn't grow on fucking trees, man. So I'm disappointed in that. I think they should re-sign him. I really do. Yeah, I don't know. We have to wait until next offseason. Already had announcements that he'd love to go play for the Red Sox. Red Sox are not giving him fucking 600 mil. They're not. They're not giving him 600 mil.
No.
Still think the Jays will have the best offer. I really do. Out of all the teams, like the only teams that I think that would sign him are the
The
Mets,
Mets.
Red Sox. Then again, the Mets are fucking like have these crazy deals like going around.
Hmm.
They're gonna probably
Even like Steve Cohen even said that he wouldn't do that. Like
no,
he wasn't planning on signing a long-term deal anymore because he's already signed a
dude.
lot of players.
Soto is fucking ridiculous. He signed Soto for 765 million, and then you got Lindor on the books for another like 10 years. You got Alonso, Nimmo. You know, you got all these players that are on the books. Man,
Yeah.
like you gotta. I don't know how they pay Vladdy the space almost the same thing as Lindor or Soto, but I think yeah, the only team that I can think of are I don't not the Dodgers. They have a first baseman. It's not gonna maybe the Yankees. Like I don't know who.
Yeah, that would be insane if he went there and after saying multiple times that he would never play for them. I think that would be
It's
like
all about the money, man. It's all about the money.
trader of the fucking century. Like, Jays fans would fucking hate him if he went to the Yankees. You know how much hatred he would get booed the fuck out of the
Bro,
stadium
the
if he came
Yankees
back
don't
in a
even like him.
Yankees
The
uniform.
Yankees hate him, man. Like they
Yeah, but the thing is though, they do need a first baseman though. That's the thing.
yeah, I know
Like
they're stuck with LeMahieu and Rizzo. I know Rizzo's not even playing. Rizzo's yeah.
still a free agent. But
So
yeah, man, I'm really disappointed in Ross Atkins. I have not met, like I've said many times on this podcast this off season, like he's needed to do something about this, and he has not done anything. He's made things worse because this is like a Kawhi situation where he's got 1 year, and if they don't win the World Series, which
fired.
is very, very low.
Ross
He's
Atkins
he's
deserves to
done.
be fired if
And the
they
thing
don't.
is, yes, for sure. But also the thing is, if the Jays are shit, if they don't have like at the trade deadline, I don't know what time, like at what point the trade deadline is in the season, but if they're like fifth in the division and they're like 10, almost 15 games out of a wild card spot, he's getting traded. He's not staying on that team for the rest of the year. Like he's gone. And I honestly think that would be better
I mean, you could
if
get a
they
lot of.
traded him at the
It all
dead.
depends on
You
how
get
what kind of year he's having too. You got to be
and
competitive.
he's going to be playing well. Vlad's not he's not going to slack because he knows that he's going to be people are going to be looking at him this season for to be signed by other teams obviously. So he's going to have a good year. Like something similar to
Well,
last
if he
year
has a good
or
year, then maybe they make the playoffs, man. Like, who
I
knows?
know, but that's the thing though. But he's obviously going to play well because he's not playing. He's obviously going to play well for the team, but he's also going to play well for other teams so that they can like look at him and say, "Oh shit, maybe we should give this guy a lot of money."
Yeah,
Because if he's not going to play well, they're not. He's not going to get signed by anyone, right? Or he's not going to get a big deal that he was looking for.
yeah.
So he's
But
going to be playing well. It's kind of like Nylander when he was on that big contract dispute with the Leafs. He was lighting it up, man. He had a 40-goal season last year before he got signed to that big deal. He was playing really well. This is the same situation here where he's going to be playing out of his mind. He's going to have another 300 average season for sure. He's going to be playing really well, and someone's going to give him a lot of money if he plays well. They're not going to give him a good contract if he's playing like shit,
yeah,
right? So he's definitely going to be performing. It's just if the team itself is going to match that. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
No, I
that's
know.
all. That's just the determining factor if the team is going to back him up.
Yeah, no,
So
I agree with you. I think I think that if yeah, it's like I still think the Jays have the best chance to re-sign him. I still do think that. Out of I don't agree with like Bob Nightingale and John Hyman who were saying like the Mets and Red Sox are now the front runners for Vladdy. No, I don't think so. I think Vladdy has said you have to take what he has said as the truth. He said that he wants to stay with the Blue Jays. He loves playing here. If they
Yeah.
if they put pen to paper, he's here. He's here. Like if they give him that offer, that's all it is, man. And you look at another example. Judge did the same thing. Judge declined a contract before spring training back in 2022. He went on to have that 62 home run season, MVP year, and then he
Yep. And then
resigned with,
he got his money.
and he got his money. And that's exactly what I think could happen with Vladdy. There's a chance with that'll happen.
Hmm.
It sucks that now it's all public because with the judge, it wasn't as public, I don't think, with him declining. It was, whereas this is like Vladdy has a timeline and, he's got that whole thing going on. A
Right.
little bit much, but I think, I still think the Jays do have the best chance to land him because he wants to play here. He has a country behind him. There's many reasons, many reasons. He's been
Yeah.
here his entire career and he wants to win here. And then I think the chances get even better if the Jays win like one playoff game, just one, because that means that he's gotten a little taste of it. Maybe they win the wild card series. That's your
Right.
take there. Vladdy's like, I've never seen this before. I've never seen Canada like this. We won a playoff series. This is incredible. Now he
Hmm.
wants to sign no matter what. So
It's also sad because if he does go, it's because he was born here too. That's also a thing, right? He's also Canadian. So obviously he doesn't play for Canada, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I
Like
know.
he's basically from here, right? So that's also another important factor to, you know, bring in. But yeah, man, they Ross really fucked up this offseason. He really fucked up.
Yeah.
It's not he's on very thin ice. Very thin ice. If this team doesn't perform, he has to go. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Just really, really a shame.
Yeah.
But we'll hopefully Vladdy turns it on. Like like you said about Judge, and he has a really good season, like an MVP caliber season, like he did last year and a few years ago when we had like Marcus Simeon and all those guys. Um, I think we could make the playoffs if that does happen. It just all depends on the supporting roles of Santander, who we brought in, and like you said, Jeff Hoffman and all these guys to be brought in. It all depends on them,
They
right?
got to be
So.
good, man. They got to be good, and
Mhm.
that's all that matters. Bo's got to be good. You got to hope that Bo has. Man,
You
we
also got to hope Scher. You
like.
also got to hope Scherzer. You also got to hope Scherzer has a solid season too, even though he's pretty old. You got
I
to
still
hope
think
that
the
he
Jays
does
need to sign
something.
another player, man. Like, I think they still need to sign
Yeah,
another. I think they need to sign another bat. Like, you gotta do something. Like, just something. Like,
I told you, man. I told you they needed something extra to actually get some get some notability from other teams and see if on paper if they can compete. But you never know. You gotta wait and see till for another month and a half or so if this team will actually mesh. But I don't think we'll find that out until June when
yeah.
we have they're 40, 50 games into the season. But who knows? We'll see.
I'm excited. First spring training games this Saturday.
Yeah,
So
we'll see how this. Yeah, we'll see how this team looks. By the way, another things aside, these spring trading hats, fucking fire, dude.
are they?
There's some fire spring trading hats. I can't remember which one it was, but I think the Cubs one is beautiful.
Cubs signed Justin Turner, by the way. Enjoy that.
Good luck.
Enjoy him. He's fucking old.
Which
He's like,
ones? Which ones was I looking at? Oh, the Tampa Bay one's really nice. Yeah, the Cubs one's really nice. I really like the White Sox one. The White Sox one's nice.
ooh, those.
Um,
Oh wait.
there's some nice spring training hats. I like the Diamondbacks one too. I like that. I like that color. There's some nice spring training hats this year. Washington has a nice one too.
Uh, there's St. Patty's Day hats right now. Yikes. Channel.
That one at the bottom. Oh, the Mariners is really nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
The Yankees have two hats for some reason. I don't know how that works, but I guess they're just special.
yeah, it sucks. Yeah, but I don't really care. I do care actually, but I'm just
Hmm.
trying to cope with it. I'm trying to tell myself it doesn't matter, but it does.
Hmm.
Um, let's move on. Let's move on to our top five, which is a very exciting one. In honor of SNL's 50th anniversary, we decided we're going to do top five SNL cast members. Um,
Yeah, this is a
I'm
tough one, man.
I've been a big fan of SNL for a long time. My family, my parents are huge SNL fans. Like they watched it.
Hmm.
They've been watching it since high school. You know, back when Chris Farley and Phil Hartman and Adam Sandler and all the classics were on. Dana
Right.
Carvey. Yeah. So
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers, yeah. Um, let's get right into it. You want me? I'll go first. I'll go first for this one.
You want to go? Okay.
All right. At my honorable mention, I got probably one of the most successful female cast members to come out of SNL as well. She's always been super funny. I got to go with Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig is hilarious. Have you seen
Hmm.
Bridesmaids? That is such a funny movie. But
Oh, great film.
we're talking about cast member how they were on SNL, and she was great. She was one of the best female performers on SNL. You look at
Hmm.
almost all of her sketches, they're incredible. The Costco lady, or not Costco lady, the Target lady is one of the funniest she's ever done. She plays Millie, I think her name is, and she's got the tiny little hands, and she's like a dancer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did that on SNL this past for the special on Sunday. There's so many. She plays Liza Minnelli. She did a sketch with playing Liza Minnelli with Jonah Hill, which is hilarious. The list goes on. The list goes on. There's a bunch of stuff that she's done, but she's very funny and can do really good impressions too. Yeah, Kristen Wiig, definitely talented. When she hosted not that long ago, it was a great episode. There's some great sketches in there. Yeah, Kristen Wiig at number six as my honorable mention. Number five, they called this guy the glue. Phil Hartman. If you watched any of
Hmm.
Phil's sketches, he is fucking hilarious. He's on the show for eight seasons. Um, actually, pretty sad how he passed away. He got
Oh, it's horrible.
murdered by his
Horrible story.
yeah. But Phil Hartman was so many impressions. Did the presidents? Did Ronald Reagan?
He's Canadian too, I think.
Yep, he is from Brantford. Yeah, Brantford or Brampton. I'm pretty sure. Um, but he was again from he brought SNL back out of that terrible run they had in the 80s, and brought them into I guess success you could say from the late 80s and the early 90s. He just did so many characters. He was in like every sketch basically because he was so funny. But he played the presidents. He played Ronald Reagan hilariously. If you've seen some of those sketches, they're awesome. There's Caveman Lawyer or yeah, Caveman Prosecutor or something like that. That
Hmm.
is like one of the greatest sketches of all time. Um, and then I'm trying to think of what else. Yeah, he played Bill Clinton. Phil Hartman, just hilarious, just a hilarious guy. He's got the voice for it. Very funny. At number four, one of the guys I find hilarious. Is so funny, so goddamn funny. But I think he's a genius. Another guy that was a glue to the show was Mike Myers. Mike Myers at number
Hmm.
four, another Canadian. So
Yep.
funny. Maybe one of the greatest sketches and recurring sketches of all time, Wayne's World,
Yep.
was the backbone of Mike Myers and Dana Carvey. So funny. There's a couple other sketches that they've done too. Sprockets is another one that I always think of, which is
Hmm.
hilarious. Sprockets is so goddamn funny. Coffee Talk as well, which he did on the SNL 50th, Mike Myers. Um, just a genius, man. He's hilarious, and it also succeeded in an acting career as well. He played Shrek, ended up playing Shrek, Austin Powers. So I Married an Axe Murderer, and the movie Wayne's World is so really, really funny as well.
Hmm.
If you haven't seen that. At number three, King of Impressions. I got another really, really funny guy. People say I look like him, which I don't get. People say my dad looks like him, but Bill Hader. Bill Hader. One of the funniest comedians, does
Hmm.
incredible impressions. You got Stefan as one of the classic all times on Weekend Update. Um, I'm trying to think of what else he does. Vinny Vedecci, who is this Italian talk show host that he does. Really, really funny. The king of impressions, just can do any impression at all. Bill Hader. He also cracks up and is just, yeah, again, a backbone of SNL during those 2000 years and the early 2010s. He was alongside one of the greatest casts of all time. Like, just the names in there. It's like Jason Sudeikis, Andy Samberg, Will Forte, Maya Rudolph, Amy Poehler, Kristen Wiig, Tina Fey, Fred Armisen, Daryl Hammond. Like, all of these just all-stars, all-star cast. Kenan Thompson, so. Uh, that was a good era of SNL for sure. And at number two, you're gonna agree with this one. I know for a fact. I know you love this guy, Eddie Murphy. At number two, uh,
Yeah.
he is an absolute genius. During that time, he was like the only funny person on that show in the early 80s.
Hmm.
And then he became like this absolute superstar in the 80s with Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America. Why can't I think of the other ones?
Trading Places,
Places, yeah. Like Eddie Murphy,
48 Hours.
48 Hours, yeah, the GOAT. There's a ton of great sketches. He plays Gumby, Mr. Robinson's. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Trying to think of what else. Oh yeah, Celebrity Hot Tub with where he plays James Brown. Stevie
Oh
Wonder.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. Celebrity Hot Tub is one of the funniest sketches I have ever seen. It is so good. Um, but yeah, Eddie Murphy, and also just one of like the absolute like one of like the only and original like black cast members along with like Garrett Morris, and he
Yep.
absolutely just brought like yeah that total different audience to SNL with Eddie Murphy. Just an absolute comedian and did all of his own stuff too, wrote all of his own stuff and was absolutely hilarious. And then number one, the amount of sketches this guy has, which are just like recurring too, are crazy. And he's also one of the greatest comedians of all time. Made so much money. Will Ferrell at number one. I got
Yep.
I got to go with Will Ferrell. I love Will Ferrell. I know some people aren't. Some people are think he's overrated a little bit, but the amount of sketches this guy has, just look up Will Ferrell sketches and you'll find them. There's the team cheerleading that he did with Sherry O'Terry, which is so funny, where they drinking the Starbucks coffee. Night at the Roxbury with
Oh my God.
so funny.
Fucking
You, me,
awesome.
you, me, you, me, you. So good. You got um you got Need More Cowbell, which is one of the greatest sketches of
Yep.
all.
Yep.
So funny. He also played the president. He played, which is always a good sign for a cast member, where he played George W. Bush. That is hilarious. He's so funny in as George W.
Hmm.
Bush. Um, he did. There's a sketch with Anna Gastier where he plays the principal and vice principal of the school dance. Watch that sketch. It's hilarious. Um, he's just hilarious. Cracks people up. All he does is crack people up. There's another sketch
Hmm.
with Sean Hayes and Jimmy Fallon where they are working at some like I don't even know. They're working at like some gay like clothing store, and he's the boss, and he comes in with like this giant black bowl cut, and he's got a phone that's like this size, and he opens it, and it's one of the funny sketches you'll ever see. Old Prospector is another one which kills me every time I watch it.
Hmm.
Will Ferrell, just absolutely hilarious, so I
Yep.
gotta go with him at number one. Apparently also they offered him like millions of dollars to come back for like an eighth season or a seventh season or something like that. But he's like, nah, I gotta
Right.
on with my career. I gotta make money.
He made a good decision doing that.
Yeah, but
Obviously made more money doing. movies and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Old school Elf, Anchorman, so many from that point
Yeah.
on.
All right. An honorable mention. The only reason why I have him this low is because he wasn't on for long. John Belushi, rest in peace.
Yeah,
Yeah, really funny, really good impressions. I just watched Blues Brothers for the first time um, last weekend, and I was amazed. Like, phenomenal movie. If anyone has not seen it, go see it now. Some of the best music in a film I've ever seen, best musical numbers, loads of celebrity guests in that movie. They just made an SNL skit work into a whole film, and apparently there was a lot of problems on set too with like the making of it and funding it. But yeah, really well done. John Belushi, hilarious. Yeah, gone too soon. Number five, I have Kate McKinnon. I think she's fucking hilarious.
yeah.
Um, I really like her. I kind of found out about her when she was doing the impressions of Hillary Clinton with uh, with Alec Baldwin as Trump. I thought that was like those skits together was fucking hilarious. And then I started to watch. She's in a bunch of like comedies and stuff. Like she's in Barbie. She was really good in Barbie. I thought she was good in that. Um, I'm pretty sure she's in the female Ghostbusters movie. She's pretty good in that too. Um, yeah, and then obviously the 50th anniversary, she did the Close Encounters with Meryl Streep. She was really good in that too. Yeah, great cast member. So I'm gonna put her at five. At four, I got Adam Sandler. I think that era of SNL was really good with like Chris Rock, David Spade, Rob Schneider, Chris Farley, Norm Macdonald, all those guys. Um, and I think Adam Sandler was kind of, I wouldn't say he was the leader, but he was kind of like the one who got the most successful after SNL. But he wasn't on for too long. But I think when he was on it, he was really good. So I'm gonna put him at number four. Really good writing, his comedy sketches and stuff, and obviously had an amazing career after with movies. Um, Number three, I have your number one. I got Will Ferrell at three. Um, Obviously like I like Adam Sandler, really good career after SNL. Very good on SNL too. Very good sketches. I think a really underrated one he does is Alex Trebek
Oh
for
yeah, I totally
Jeopardy. I
forgot
think
about
he's
that.
phenomenal as Alex Trebek. He's really good at that. Um, but yeah, I got him at number three. Really good session. Obviously, Night at the Roxbury. You mentioned a lot of those, so um, that obviously another SNL skit became movie, which was pretty good. So I'm gonna put him at number three. Number two, I'm surprised you didn't have him on here. I thought you would put him pretty high, but I got Chris Farley at number two.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry.
Obviously, just the physical comedy is obviously his standpoint. That's what made him so funny. Um, the skits with him and David Spade, they were really good together. Obviously, Adam Sandler, all those guys around that time. Um, great career after SNL, like or during SNL, I guess when he was later. Um, and obviously, he had side gigs with Adam Sandler and not Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, and did movies like Tommy Boy with David Spade, which was hilarious. Love that movie. Bunch other movies. He's great, man. Rest in peace. Also, um, yeah, great, very funny, great comedian. He literally made everyone laugh, like on set, like break character. So I think that's got to stay for something at number two, and then number one, like you mentioned, Eddie Murphy. Um, Obviously, probably one of, if not the best stand-up comedian of all time, in my opinion. Um, like you mentioned, also he was probably the only funny person in that 1980, I think, cast that got hired. I think everyone got fired except him and someone else. Um, so I think that says something about him being, a comedic genius, and obviously, like all the other guys I have on this list, fantastic career after SNL. Obviously, made blockbuster films. Um, and he's still doing it now, man. He's still making movies, and he was great in the 50th anniversary. He had a really good bit with Keenan Thompson and Will Ferrell in the jail one. I thought that was hilarious. He was so good where he's like he was mentioning Harry Potter and like his life was like Harry Potter. I thought it was so funny. It was so good. But yeah, I got Eddie Murphy at number one. I think it's not really SNL related, but I think his two stand up, like his specials, Raw and Delirious. I think those two are it's like some of the best comedy ever written. So
Yeah.
I got him at number one.
Hmm. Oh yeah, that's
It's a really good one. I'm not as big as SNL watcher as you because you got you're mentioning a lot of names I didn't even know about. So, or I've probably seen their faces, but I just don't know names. But yeah, that's a good one. I think next week we should do best hosts, like celebrity hosts who come on. I think that would be interesting because there's been a lot of different hosts and like regular occurring ones too. So
yeah.
I think that would be interesting to see.
There's some good ones, man. Yeah, I'm trying to think of.
Other cast members I was thinking about putting, but they weren't on long enough. Was Shane Gillis? He was on for a little bit. He was a bit of a writer. They took him off. I don't know why they
But he
did.
got fired, bro. He
Um,
wasn't on there. He wasn't. No. So Shane Gillis got fired before he even did anything on SNL. Actually,
uh,
he didn't write once. He did. Yeah.
hmm.
He didn't get hired at all.
He was too good. He was too good to be on SNL.
Well, he's hosting next week.
Um, yeah, that'll be. I'd love to see that. And then what's Buddy's name who does the show? I think you should leave.
Oh, Tim
What's his
Robbins.
name? Yeah,
I
he's
don't
really
know
good.
about him. I wouldn't put him. He was.
What?
I'm saying on SNL, they have to be good. Like they have to be good on
Okay,
SNL. He's meant
okay.
for that weird comedy that he does. You don't even know his name, so like, yeah, I wouldn't put him on the list.
I know, but whenever I see him, he always makes me laugh. I mean, he's
He's
really
pretty
good.
fun. I'd put like
Um,
I was gonna put Dana Carvey because Dana Carvey's another guy that was
yeah.
really funny at the time on SNL. Did Church Lady. He played George W.H. Bush.
hmm
It,
I think him is really good. I think Bill Murray is like right on the edge of my list. I think Dan Aykroyd, another pioneer of SNL. Chevy Chase is only on for one season, so I don't think that really, he was one of the founding people, but I'd put him up there too. Norm Macdonald, who I mentioned, I definitely put him up there too. He was really good. I was also thinking about putting Colin Yost and Michael Che. I think
Colin
Weekend
Jost.
Update,
Yeah, yeah,
their new Weekend Update is I love that. That's the
yeah.
only reason why I watch like SNL once in a while is because of that. Because I like the dynamic of them writing each other's jokes. I think that's really good. Um, so I'd put them pretty up there in my list too. They're both really good.
I think yeah, I'm looking at just like the list of all time right now. I think yeah, another one would definitely be Chris Farley, who I would have put on my list. I think Chris Farley is
Hmm
absolutely hilarious. Um, let's see here. Yeah, like Norm Macdonald, I could have put again, Norm Macdonald's also a guy that's like he's is he meant for SNL though? That's the thing. Like I think so. Like I think he's
Yeah.
great at Weekend Update, but I think he's like I find him more funny as just like a stand-up comedian and just like him
hmm
doing his own things. Um, like Tracy Morgan's another guy that was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. Really good. He was
But
good
you
in
know
the
who I
50th
was gonna put on
anniversary.
the list, who I think is hilarious, and I should have probably put on the list to tell you the truth. Is Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. Like
Yeah.
guys, Tina Fey is a genius. She, like wrote like so many sketches. She's the head writer of SNL, plus a cast member, plus a she was also Weekend Update.
Yep.
Her
Yep.
and then also Amy Poehler. I think that they're really funny. Like they're really funny, and I think
hmm
they are like as some of the best like female cast members of all time. I think they got to be up there. Same with Maya Rudolph is another really funny
hmm
person, but especially during that era. Yeah, it's a lot of them. Anyway, yeah, I think that's a good way to end our list off.
hmm
But yeah, anything else you have to add?
No. Go Canada.
Yeah, go
Good game
Canada.
tomorrow.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll make sure to like, subscribe, check out our YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all those apps. Enjoy the rest of your day and evening, and cheers. See you soon.